It took the jury 7 days to reach its decision, and when it came, the sense of relief in Los Angeles was something you could feel. George Lewis is at the federal courthouse this evening. Good evening, George.
Good evening, Garrick. The jury actually made its decision at 3:35 yesterday afternoon, but the judge sealed the verdicts overnight so law enforcement agencies could gear up for any adverse reaction on the streets. Security was tightened around the courthouse overnight. A huge crowd of news people from all over the world took up positions as the defendants and their lawyers began arriving, as well as the 8 men and 4 women of the jury. The judge had ordered them to be in court at 7 a.m. Inside the courtroom, the 4 defendants sat quietly as the verdicts were read. Sergeant Stacy Kuhn, guilty. Officer Lawrence Powell, guilty. Officer Timothy Wind, not guilty. Officer Theodore Brasino, not guilty. Brasino was the only one showing any emotion.
He was crying during the court proceeding because although he was critical of the actions out there that night and tried to stop them, he felt deeply that they were not criminal.
Rodney King's lawyer said the verdicts did not go far enough.
We're disappointed that all 4 officers were not convicted. We think Officer Wynn and Brasino were equally as guilty as Powell and Kuhn.
Los Angeles Mayor Tom Bradley said that with the verdicts, the city had turned a corner.
Today, a measure of simple justice has been delivered to our community.
Last year, after the first Rodney King beating verdict, when Los Angeles erupted in rioting, Bradley and his police chief, Daryl Gates, were feuding. Today, the streets were quiet, but the feud continued. Gates, now a radio talk show host.
I just heard the mayor, and he said justice now has been done. But during the last, when the Simi Valley jury came down, he trashed that jury. He said what a terrible job they did. I don't think you can do that.
I want you to understand this. Daryl Gates is irrelevant to this issue and to the city at this moment.
In Pittsburgh, President Clinton called the verdicts a tribute to the judgment of the jury and the work of the federal prosecutors.
It was once again a reminder that our courts are the proper forum for the resolution of even our deepest legal disputes.
The 2 policemen who were found guilty have been told to return to court August 4th for sentencing. If things remain quiet here over the weekend, the extra police and the National Guard will stand down. Garrick?
Thank you, George. And now to John Gibson in South Central Los Angeles, the center of the riot zone a year ago. This time things are quiet. John?
Garrick, the reaction on the street is a mixture of disappointment that 2 officers were cleared and a sense of relief that the 2 primary defendants were convicted.
Guilty.
At the First AME Church in South Central L.A.
Guilty.
In the Latino Pico Union District, all across the riot-torn areas of Los Angeles, people cheered the verdict and then said they wanted more.
It by no means says that justice has been served to Black America.
You have a partial justice that has been served. You have a token, you have something that eliminated a rebellion.
The potential for more civil disturbance was on everyone's mind. Police and National Guard were arrayed around the city on tactical alert all night. Merchants stationed armed guards on top of stores. In Koreatown, people prayed the verdict would bring peace. In the Latino community, people wore black armbands to show they did not approve of the 2 acquittals. But there was a sense of optimism that there is a chance all ethnic groups can start over.
Work as one community, Anglo, whites, blacks, Hispanic, Martians, all together.
At the infamous corner of Florence and Normandy, people were already looking forward to the next step.
The guilty verdict is one thing, the sentencing is another thing.
The streets of Los Angeles are calm now, and they're expected to remain so. Garrick?
Thank you, John. And now to Star Jones, our law correspondent. Star, clearly the jury here was in a very difficult situation. It had to weigh a lot of testimony, but also had to be aware of the impact of its verdict outside the courtroom, didn't it?
Yes, indeed. And Garrick, there were 9 whites, 2 blacks, and 1 Latino on this jury, 8 men and 4 women. Today, I spoke with one of the male jurors who wishes to remain anonymous and asked him about outside influences on the jury.
We all knew it happened. We all knew the riots and so forth. But I didn't base anything on the previous trial, and nobody ever brought it up.
Did you think that any one defendant bore particular responsibility for what occurred there that evening?
Well, definitely. I definitely believe that Sergeant Kuhn was in charge, and he knew he was in charge, and it was up to him to stop that beating.
For you, which one was the most difficult to deal with?
It would be Powell.
And the easiest?
The easiest, Kuhn.
Why?
Because it was obvious to me that Kuhn was guilty.
Do you think that they should be incarcerated, probation, fined?
I think a few years in jail would do them both good. I think that Kuhn should get more years than Powell, in my opinion.
Do you think that justice was done in this case?
In this case, yes.
And do you have any regrets whatsoever?
None at all.
I've spoken to several of the defense attorneys here in this case, and they seem to indicate, especially the ones that represented Powell and Officer Kuhn, and they indicate that an appeal is likely. So though this case is over in this courtroom, it's far from officially over. Garrick?
Thank you, Star. In other news today, the prison confrontation in Ohio. The prison confrontation continues. The inmates holding
Prison
hostage.
officials had hoped to be back in control of the prison tonight with the 5 remaining hostages freed, but the siege continues. In fact, a corrections spokesperson told us today there are reports inmates may be trying to the prison compound. Corrections officials also delivered more food, water, and medical supplies to the prison yard today. A Cleveland newspaper has quoted law enforcement and other sources as saying that there are at least 19 more bodies inside the prison compound. The head of the corrections department says it is possible that there are more deaths, but none have been confirmed. Garrick?
While that other standoff, the one outside Waco, Texas, continues today, a man who sneaked into the cult compound of David Koresh last month left, and he was taken into custody by authorities. Koresh says he will not come out until he has finished a manuscript on the Book of Revelations. And today he asked the FBI for some help in writing it. He asked for a word processor to be sent into his compound.
Impossible! How can you store 8 rolls of Charmin in that tiny space?
By squeezing, Chief.
You see, moms need more storage space.
So we're taking 8 rolls of Charmin and squeezing them.
Great idea! We'll call it Space Maker.
So you can store twice as much in about the same space, so you don't run out.
And it pops back out again.
Glad I thought of it.
Try new Charmin Space Maker.
Remember, if it's not squeezably soft, it's not Charmin.
What are you doing?
Pouring on A1.
Before. Think it'll taste different after? Because before you did it after.
Try it. Before you eat it all.
Oh, after you.
A1. It's how steak is done. Day after day, you make those glasses of thick Metamucil disappear. Why not make them all disappear with FiberCon? Doctor-recommended FiberCon gives you the same fiber regularity in tablets.
Easy to swallow tablets.
Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
Srebrenica. A few weeks ago, that name carried little meaning if you were not involved in the war in Bosnia. Now it's become famous, indeed infamous. Inside the city, tens of thousands of Bosnian Muslims outside it attacking Serb forces. News about Srebrenica today came via ham radio operators. They told of heavy Serb shelling in that city, of bodies of dead and wounded lying in the streets. United Nations efforts to send a convoy and peacekeepers to Srebrenica were blocked by Serb actions. Also today in Sarajevo, the UN commander and the generals commanding Serb and Bosnian forces agreed in principle to a ceasefire in Srebrenica, but few expect it to hold in that city. When the Muslims are forced out of Srebrenica, it will be ethnically cleansed, as the saying goes. The war will be closer to its end because the Serbs will be close to the total victory they want. Here is how close they are this evening. In the past year of fighting, Serbs living in Bosnia have extended their control to 70% of the country. Their goal, to create a Serb state in Bosnia, which would border on and perhaps one day join the larger Serbia next to it. That means driving non-Serbs out of the eastern region, where after the fall of Srebrenica, there will be only 2 Muslim enclaves left. The weapons of this war have included guns, rape, and internment camps. More than 100,000 have died, more than 2 million are refugees. And while it has happened, the world has watched. There have been efforts to negotiate a peace, but they have failed. The United Nations has voted sanctions, but to little avail. The United States has dropped food and is enforcing a no-fly zone, but like European nations, it has avoided getting involved in the fighting on the ground. The war, though, is about controlling ground and people, and now the Serbs are just where they want to be. And the Muslims of Bosnia are where no one wants to be, losing land, lives, and perhaps the war. And with us now is Bosnia's ambassador to the United Nations, Mohammed Shakrabi. Sir, what's the latest that you're hearing from your country and from Srebrenica this evening?
The worst. The town continues to be shelled. Many are dead or dying on the streets. No one dares out to help them, go out to help them.
Is this first-hand information you're getting?
This is. Just about less than an hour ago, I was in touch with Sarajevo. At the same time, they were in touch with a ham radio operator from Srebrenica. Obviously, they were talking from hell to a place that was just a little bit better than hell, to New York.
All right, given these conditions, how long can the people in the city hold out? When does Srebrenica fall to the Serbs?
I don't know. All we want to do, though, is save the people. We have to do whatever we can to save the people. If we have to pull them out, fine. We want to make sure we get all of them out. If we have to create a safe haven, please let's do that. Let's save these people's lives.
All right. The United Nations has been in session again. The Security Council, you're taking part of that in that session today. For so many weeks and months now, we've seen the protestations of outrage, and yet it seems to be ineffective. How do you react to the UN, to the United States, to other countries that haven't done more to aid your people?
We ask them to help, but on the other hand, if they're unwilling to help, then we ask them at least to give us the opportunity to help ourselves, to defend ourselves. Srebrenica would have never happened if we had the opportunity to defend ourselves, or if the war would have at least come to our aid initially.
But is the war coming to an end now?
It'll never come to an end for the simple reason that they're looking to conquer the entire country. They're looking to expel all of our people from all of our lands. And unfortunately, that will not come at an easy price.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for being with us this evening. Also overseas today in South Africa, a second arrest in the murder of black leader Chris Hani. Both suspects are white. The one arrested today is a former member of parliament and a leading member of an extreme right-wing party there. Today near Johannesburg, there was a march in memory of Chris Hani, and there was death. 2 blacks were killed when a man drove into the crowd and started shooting. He was white, and he has been arrested.
When you think about plastic, you may think about things like strong, lightweight garbage cans. Think again about life-saving automotive airbags made of plastic. When you look at these plastic containers, you may wonder if they're being recycled. Take another look. Millions of them are being recycled every day, which we can use to make things like strong, lightweight garbage cans. To learn more, call this number for a free booklet and take another look at plastic.
If you are willing to give up AT&T quality on a business called Seoul, another company's rate could save you 8-1. In your money, that's about 1 cent.
Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense.
He likes milk and show. He's got great muscle tone. He likes milk and show. A strong, healthy bone. She likes milk and show. Baby, soft skin, bright eyes, a healthy grin. She likes milk and show. Milk, it does her body good. With vitamin A to help keep eyes bright, calcium for healthy teeth, and protein to help build muscle. When you drink milk, it shows. He likes milk and show. It does her body good. He likes milk and show. It does her body.
One shot. All it takes for weeds. Roundup.
Sunday, meet the premier player in hockey, Mario Lemieux, as he battles for another championship on the ice. An even greater battle faces him off the ice. Sunday on Today.
On Focus this evening, our subject is money. Jobs. President Clinton was traveling today to sell his economic stimulus plan, which has been blocked by a Republican filibuster in Congress. Two questions about the plan are, how many jobs will it create, and where will it create them? Tom Pettit went to an area in western Pennsylvania where 1 out of 5 workers is out of a job today.
The president was in Pittsburgh selling his jobs package, which he has cut from $16 billion to $12 billion. It was part of his continuous campaign method of promoting legislation.
Ask your senator and the senators in the United States Senate to give us a chance to put this country back to work starting Monday. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Just a few miles away, Homestead, Pennsylvania, once part of America's industrial heartland, is now disappearing in despair. Big Steel is gone forever. But many former mill workers still are around, waiting for politicians to do something, like creating new businesses. Michael's Restaurant in Homestead.
They should come around here and spend a little time with some of these people. I mean, I see them every day. You know, I've seen people so bad because they're not working that, you know, they've wanted to give up on life.
Jim Monroe has been out of work since 1987.
We want something back that was stolen from us because we've got massive unemployment here in the Mon Valley.
And the people of the Monongahela Valley have heard a lot of promises before.
Bring jobs in here. Bring jobs in this area.
That's what you have to have, work.
Both Eugene Baldish and Bob Soulier spent their lives working for U.S. Steel.
How long does that go on? How long can you do that? You can only build so much. Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, you can't build everything.
So with news that the president plans to shrink his jobs bill by 25%, Homestead is skeptical.
There are no jobs to train for, and what we need is much larger scale infrastructure and mill site redevelopment support.
Clinton proposes the people here put pressure on the Republican Senator Arlen Specter.
And while it's true that President Clinton received support from Pennsylvania, so did Arlen Specter.
And Senator Dole said today that Republican opposition will continue.
The American people are saying cut spending first, and if you don't cut spending, at least pay for it.
The White House has a dilemma on its hands. How much can Clinton compromise and still emerge with a bill that creates jobs, not mere symbolism? Tom Pettit, NBC News, at the White House.
And we'll be back with more news.
Day one in the middle of nowhere. The meals have been superb. It's a good thing they have a fitness program aboard every Royal Caribbean ship. Maybe I'll work out tonight before dinner. Maybe I won't. There was something about the streamers at our Bon Voyage party that told me this is going to be the vacation of a lifetime.
You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
To celebrate Buick's 90th anniversary, we proudly introduce the 90th anniversary LeSabre. LeSabre has a proven reputation for quality and the highest pre-sale value in its class. Now you get all this Buick quality, comfort, and elegance at a special anniversary price. The 90th anniversary Buick LeSabre. Quality its competition just can't hold a candle to.
Quick, give him that cookie, Cyril.
It's not a cookie. It's a fat-free Newton.
Fat-free? I'm sure we can wait him out.
A cookie is just a cookie, but Newtons are fruit and cake.
This is the plan for the B-2 bomber. This is the structure of DNA. This is a long-distance calling plan. What do they all have in common? You can't understand any one of them. Fortunately, Sprint can decipher long distance for you. With priority service, they'll review your account and let you know if you're on the right plan. It's that easy. And this is how you call Sprint.
I'm using Pam, the only leading all-natural cooking spray to cook a low-fat feast. Pam lets the natural flavors come through, so nothing comes between you and the taste of your food. Pam.
Time now to look at some of the stories in the news this week. Will Cambodia become the killing fields again? The Khmer Rouge killed hundreds of thousands in the 1970s. This week, their leaders walked out of the National Council, organizing elections there next month, left the capital to go back into the countryside. The Khmer Rouge may once again seek power through the bullet rather than the ballot. A picture of the future. Video games coming into your home via cable television. The nation's two largest cable operators this fall will start carrying a Sega channel 24 hours a day and night. The cost about $10 a month. In Britain, a burglary. The luxurious house was being renovated and ready for its owner to move in. Then thieves broke in. They cut out radiators, doors, and skirting boards. They stole 3 bathroom suites, including toilets and bidets. They took the entire kitchen, cupboards, and cooker. And yes, they even took the kitchen sink. And this too happened this week. In Tokyo, representatives of 7 wealthy nations met and agreed to help a bankrupt one, Russia, with $28 billion in various types of aid. It's supposed to strengthen Boris Yeltsin's economic reforms. In Kuwait, former President George Bush got a hero's welcome for his leadership in liberating that country. Bush was given awards and gifts. He headed home today. Health news. The U.S. Public Health Service said doctors should do more to detect and treat major depression. It said 1 in 8 Americans suffers from depression. At the White House, a first this week, gay leaders were invited in to meet with President Clinton. A gay march on Washington is planned for next weekend. Clinton said he will send a message to the rally. And Thursday was tax deadline time. Many were surprised by the bottom line on their 1040 forms. They owed more than they had thought because of changes in withholding. Among those writing out a check, Bill and Hillary Clinton. They owed the IRS $4,100 because not enough had been withheld from their paychecks. And then, of course, there are those who don't pay their taxes because they think they can get away with it. Some do, and some don't. Here's Jeff Madrick.
$3, come on, take it up, pick it up.
The government calls it the underground economy. The millions of transactions never reported to the IRS by the self-employed, small businesses, and wealthy professionals. Marvin Mitchelson, the Beverly Hills divorce lawyer who basically invented palimony, was sentenced this week to 2.5 years in prison for not reporting $2 million of income to the IRS. The IRS estimates that in 1992, it lost as much as $127 billion in tax revenues, mostly because of underreporting of income. Among the losses, almost $25 billion from the self-employed, $24 billion from large corporations, $8 billion from small corporations like stores and restaurants, and $11.5 billion from informal transactions from street vendors to the babysitter.
It has to be a business that would have a very high component of traffic, cash traffic, not large transactions. But it all adds up when you get an economy as big as ours.
The IRS says that more than 8 out of every $10 of taxes owed are paid in full. But the agency says it is getting more aggressive about collecting the rest.
We're in the midst right now of a major reinvention, if you will, of the IRS's information technology. As that technology allows us to match more information documents, the likelihood of noncompliance is much lower.
Some experts say that noncompliance will rise if tax rates go up. Jeff Madrick, NBC News, New York.
And I'll be back with some final thoughts about this. Don Calhoun making the shot, winning $1 million. A moment to celebrate.
Chicken, orange ravioli, orange kebab, and orange a la king.
I think I'll have the orange soup.
And the chicken a la orange.
Aren't you lucky?
At Minute Maid, we know more about oranges than anything else.
He's new. Ooh, nice tie.
Love your sweater. That's why for 40 years, Minute Maid has been America's #1 orange juice.
He'll learn.
Minute Maid. We pour every ounce of ourselves into our juice.
One shot. All it takes for weeds. Roundup.
Orchard Crisps? Where are my Harvest Crisps?
Relax, Reg. They're still here. Orchard Crisps are new.
With whole grains and the taste of real fruit baked in. Apple cinnamon.
Banana walnut.
And low fat. I'm speechless.
For once.
I love them.
Imagine this is an 800 line. If a network cable cut blocks your calls, AT&T's Fastener reroutes them. So you're back on track in minutes. One of the 800 reasons to choose AT&T 800 service, the best in the business.
When I get gas, I may look like this, but I feel like this, painfully bloated with gas.
GasX has the power to relieve gas faster than antacids.
So I feel like me again.
Painful gas needs the power of GasX.
I was worried that I needed surgery for my hemorrhoids, but my doctor said they weren't serious, and it's time I used Preparation H.
Preparation H helps relieve the symptoms of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissues, often bringing relief from itching, burning, and painful irritation for hours. Doctor recommended Preparation H.
Sunday, the Senate's still in gridlock. Now what? Senators Dole and Mitchell respond. Plus, Rush Limbaugh sits in on the roundtable discussion on Meet the Press.
Finally this evening, this has not been an easy week. In Bosnia, the city of Srebrenica was being slowly strangled. In Los Angeles, there was nervousness over the Rodney King beating verdict. Would it lead to violence? And if that's not enough, this was, of course, the week to pay up on our income taxes. But then there was Don Calhoun and the shot seen round the world. There he was standing on the polished court in the Chicago Stadium, a ball in one hand, the basket some 75 feet away, more than 18,000 fans watching, knowing it was not going to happen. The sponsors of the stunt betting $1 million it was not going to happen. And so Don Calhoun hurled that ball into the air. What was beautiful about what happened then was not just that the ball went into the basket, but how it went in. It didn't bounce off the backboard. It didn't roll teasingly around the rim, deciding whether to make someone $1 million richer. No, it was that moment of perfection, the elegant sound of the ball swishing through the net. Now, some people, of course, will say we shouldn't make too much out of what was, after all, a lucky shot. But why not? A man facing the improbable, if not the impossible, gives it his best shot, a swish shot. There was one brief moment when sports should be a metaphor for life. I'm Garrett Utley. Good night for NBC News.
Does your insurance company think your life's worth saving?